Conditions here today, breaking the halfway point of the Trig Challenge 2024. And my challenge to walk 50 trig points in 2024 now comes to the halfway point, and I'm here today in Stoke St Mary at the Half Moon pub. So in celebration of the halfway point, it's only right I split myself in half and send Dennis 2, or will it be 1? Dennis 1, maybe. But I'll send another Dennis onto the trig point, today's trig point, and while the other Dennis gives us some stats, information, questions, whilst enjoying the lovely pub here. For this I require a slightly quiet period to just relax and think about splitting myself in half. All right, Dennis?
Yeah, I think I'm
Dennis 1.
Dennis 1.
And you're
You
Dennis
are.
2. So,
Okay, right.
I'm Dennis
2.
1. So, right, I'm
Okay,
Dennis 1.
I'm Dennis 2.
You're Dennis 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I get that. I'll have that. So we need to differentiate
need
ourselves.
something like that, don't we?
Perhaps you could, I don't know, open your shirt. Good idea. So like quantum mechanics, and at the
On this
quantum
occasion,
level,
because
we're
Dennis
split
2,
into 2,
as I am,
so
is
we
gonna
should be
go
mutually
and do
connected.
the trig point. I've got my very own
Yeah,
trig
come on,
bag
this is going to be
t-shirt
extremely
on.
complicated because I don't really, no, I'm not, I'm talking to Dennis 2, so, yeah,
right?
let's just get going.
I'll do you.
So here we are outside of the pub. It's a 1.25 mile walk and it should take 35 minutes with additional 15 minutes of picnicability. So come on. Horses grazing there. Lovely little setup here in the pub while Dennis 2 is doing the job that I usually do. I don't know how that works out. I'm still Dennis 1, aren't I? Ah, just realised I haven't got my phone. It's got the map on it. Idiot. This first part of the walk takes us more or less straight out into the village and then up the hill that is right on top of the village. Over there. Shouldn't take that long or be that complicated for me. He's no idea. Whereas Dennis 1 sat there in the pub. I'll be waiting to have a beer with you when you get back. I'll stick to the water for now. I presume the microphone's connected to you, Dennis. Dennis 1. Yeah, you've got me coming through. Just audio though, Dennis 2. Excellent. Perhaps you could give us or show us the graph for 2024 and are we still on target?
Yeah, I'll just flash the graph up now, Dennis, but we're on track.
So Dennis 1, how many total miles have we done? How many miles? Well, in total, we've done 122 miles.
Perseverance.
And if you want to put that into perspective, that's the equivalent of walking directly from the surface of the Earth to the thermosphere, where the northern lights are. Well, as I'm going uphill, Dennis 1, perhaps you could tell us how many feet we've ascended during these trig walks, if it's not too much trouble. Yeah, the ascent is actually the most surprising. It's well over 15,500 feet.
Bloody hell.
Which is the equivalent of half a Mount Everest.
Interesting.
Or 33,462 cornettos.
Really?
What about the total time of walking? That's a good statistic to look at. Have you got that in your data bank? Dennis 1, not at the bottom of your beer glass. I've calculated, looking at the spreadsheet, 62 hours. To put that into some kind of perspective for you, Dennis 2, that's pegging and venting a Timothy Taylor's barrel, allowing a second fermentation before serving the first beer. I mean, I'm not having a beer yet, Dennis 2, I'm just sticking to water. By the way, this walk is very pleasurable, Dennis 1. I think you're missing out. It's a lovely quiet day in the countryside. a very nice quiet path, and more or less 10 minutes in, I'm nearly at the trig point. First point to note on this trig point, it is in somebody's field. The corner here should be Stoke Hill trig point. And while I find this, Dennis one, why don't you flash over the leaderboard? Aha! Stoke Hill trig point. I'm stoked to be here. Get down with the kids. The viewpoint, looking at the surrounding views, you can see actually we're obscured for most of the views on top of this hill. Lovely day, and just one distant view over that way. Historical reference, well, Stoke St Mary, when I read about it, actually says itself that there isn't actually that much history because it's such a small village hidden away in the hills near Taunton that it often gets missed. There is a little bit of history about it, but not a lot. But one thing this has got going for it is it's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous, lovely flat field. Almost like I'd want to camp here. Discovery index? Well, I'm crouching down because quite clearly it's hidden under a tree. And so visibility is very difficult to see it. I had to come really right on top of it before I actually saw the trig point. Access is actually quite difficult in the respect that you have to jump over a gate. Like I say, it could be private land this, I think it is, so it's not always great in that respect. Visibility wise, it's obviously hidden well in this hedge line. If you look here, it is on a concrete plinth and the condition of it is excellent. I hope you're paying attention, Dennis one. We're in the middle of a trig point here. Picnic ability today. I've gone for the halfway, half a sandwich of my usual peanut butter and Vegemite. It is the Trig Baggers sandwich of choice. Just look at that. How it all drools out. Delicious. What are you having for your picnic ability? Yeah, I'm just having a bag of crisps, Dennis, too. Don't worry about me. You just enjoy your picnic ability. Oh, picnic ability, as you can see, the fields here is plenty of opportunity to get a blanket out. I mean, there are sheep in here, so I'd have to watch out for ticks. But as a place to come and have a picnic, absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to give the blue ribboned a go. Just doesn't work. What do you think, Dennis? One? Would you be happy with the blue ribbon?
Ooh, absolutely stuffed. I don't think I could eat another thing on picnic ability today.
The farmer's just arrived, Dennis. Hello. I do apologise. I've just popped into this field. I thought it might... Phew. The lady was very pleasant and understanding. I was thinking of just coming straight back to the pub now, if that's all right. Is that okay? Because I've had a bit of a shock. You're doing the loop. I don't want to walk around in a loop. That's what these trig points are all about. I want you to walk round. Now go on. What do you mean? Off it. Up it. All right. Yeah, what would your top tips be, Dennis, too? Yeah, well, the first one, and quite obviously, is improving health and fitness. What better way to get at the outdoors, get some practice walking? And I was described by my good friend off the What Would Brian Bevan Say podcast, Sam Sankey, as I'm looking lean and trim nowadays. Yeah. That's the word on the street. So certainly, if you want to look lean and trim, get yourself out, trig bagging and walking, particularly, and hills and so on. Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, there is a lot of unexplored areas that I've found whilst I've been trig bagging.
Get another drink?
Tales of the unexpected. I think when you go on these walks, I met a sheep. I told you not to mention the sheep. I had to rescue it from the brambles. And then also the unexpected dog that joined me for 5 miles and then having to deal with that. We nearly had a dog. Unexpectedly. You get taken to some very unusual places. Yeah, bunkers. A couple of bunkers along the way. Oh, a grotto. Mrs. Waywell found a grotto in the middle of Exmoor. I know Mrs. Waywell wanted to go into the grotto. There's no witch in it though. Got any top tips from walking all these trig points? Tips? Sorry, thought you said something else, thinking abreast of things. Yeah, tips for trig bagging. Yeah, well, there's a couple of good ones. Plan your route. There's been a couple of occasions with this where I've found myself in the wrong place. You can see that in the statistics in terms of how many more miles I've done than the planned route. And the other thing to consider is if it's on private ground. We've just seen today, proof in the pudding, lady there turns up, it's her field. Yeah, you've got to be aware of where you're walking on a public footpath and private land. Of course, when you're out and about, you've got to have the right equipment, as I've found. Walking these trig points in the heat of summer, and even in the depths of winter, you can soon get dehydrated. So you definitely need to get the right equipment. Walking shoes, I got some poles because I was falling over everywhere, especially when it's rocky and it's dodgy like this. So yeah, I think there's definitely an argument that you've got to get the right equipment. And of course, you want to be able to navigate your way around so you don't get lost. Oh, yeah, not really thought of that myself. Ah, this is turning into a nice walk again. You're missing out here, Dennis One. Sat there with your pint of water. One other thing is thinking about ability. Ability. In fact, think about your ability and the type of walk you want to do, whether you want to do a full-on ascent to a very high point, or whether you want a nice, flat, easy walk, whether the paths are accessible, I suppose, and easy to go. So you've got to really think about your own ability. I'm probably approaching nearly expert in terms of my ability walking down paths. So, you know, sometimes you can't do exactly what I do.
We apologise for the interruption to your programming whilst we remove some foliage from Dennis's head.
My expert ability has really helped me in the last few trig points. Lovely wood. I'm nearly there now. Are you going to get me a drink in or something? Don't worry about coming back in the pub. I'll meet you in the van. Right. Yeah, and finally, last but not leastly, if that's the expression, always remember to enjoy yourself and look around, because it's surprising how much you can miss when you're doing these sort of walks. Looking at the countryside, looking at the views, that's what it's all about. The pub is just down there, and I'll meet up with you again in a minute, Dennis One. All right, Dennis Two. Oh, I thought we were going to meet in the pub. Good walk. What's that on your face? What? This? Is that mayonnaise? What? That? Oh, have you been eating? Oh, it's just put a bit of cream. I've got a bit of dry skin. Right. Honestly, it's just dry skin, and I've just got some cream to just put on the. No need to be like that. You can't just drive and leave me here, so you can stuff your trig bagging. It doesn't work like that. I'm going to do my own thing. You can't drive off on your own. It's a half-baked idea.